Welcome back to International Fathers. I'm your host, Nelson Amuda Sr. Today we're going to talk about continued time spent with children. With our guest, to my right, your left, we have. We'll ask him and talk to him about those topics here. What does a fatherhood means to you?
Fatherhood means to me, um, it's kind of word taking because it's so many things encompassed in that. First you got the birth of your child. That's always a great joy, and you start planning out your child's future. And the child is only maybe a couple minutes old, so even for the initial father, those first brief minutes as child is in the world, it's actually breathtaking as well. But it means actually stepping up, thinking of all the good and the bad things you did in your life, all your major accomplishments, and trying to set a standard or a rubric as to how as though you can act or things you could do to influence your child to do and act on those same things. It's not just, oh, my kid can do this, my kid can do that. But actually showing your child that if you set yourself up for success now, in the future, it'll actually be successful based on your planning now. Plus, your child will actually, okay, my dad took time to make time for events and to do things, and you actually have that model, or that actual visual image, what it's actually being asked of you. And I actually think if you have a strong fatherhood plan, in the end, only success will come from the child, and both the father and the children will both reap the benefits.
Well, the blueprint that you have right now that you're displaying and you're telling the audience here, it sounds like one day you yourself may have a child or children one day.
Yes, God willing, I would love to be a father. I actually know, the dedication and the hard work that it takes, from learning and teaching simple things, as potty training, manners and things like that, to even, discipline to study or discipline to wake up and go to school the next day. So, I personally know I would have to lead by example. That's the type of person I am naturally. So to actually provide that for, a younger human being, a younger person, it'll be a little bit meticulous, but it's definitely something I look forward to one day.
But for all that mind that you just now said, because I mean it sounds like you're gonna be great once you get there. What impact or what influence you think you may be passed down to your child or children?
I think hard work and dedication would be the two things that stand out the most that get passed down. For my kids seeing me, working hard, then leaving work to show up for their events, wrestling matches, things like that. Then they actually say, okay, I'm dedicated to them. I'm dedicated. I'm supporting them as well. So they'll actually be able to say, well, my dad, still brought home, the food for dinner, but dinner was always after him picking me up from this event or from this gathering. I actually think that's two of the most important things a child, especially a younger child, can actually see a father do. So those are two of my most important things I'm going to work and focus on the most.
Since you're not a father yet, can you explain the impact a father could place on his son, number one, and then his daughter?
Uh, I think it's easy for the impact that you can place on a son because, okay, your son actually sees you, he interacts with you. When he hits puberty, he's going to come to you about those questions that, a female can't always answer the right way and give him the answer that, he needs. It could be early puberty, he asks questions. Later in high school and college, it's going to be different questions. I actually think, the experience that the father has, he'll be able to help out a lot more, give more input, actually living those experiences himself, actually be able to give more feedback to any follow-on questions. As far as the daughter, he'll actually be the model to which she will want her boyfriend or husband to be. Not saying daddy hit on mommy or saying daddy work hard. That's probably qualities that she'll probably want in her husband because that's all she's used to. It's all she's accustomed to. So she actually knows, what's becoming of a man, what's a man supposed to do, expectations of a man, what's the things a man can and will do, things that a man won't tolerate. So things like that, I think she'll actually take from that and it'll actually help her out too.
It sounds like you have a good father when you was growing up. Do you think that fatherlessness cycle can be broken?
I think it can be broken. I could speak from that personally. My brother, he actually grew up without his biological father. He has two kids now, a boy and a girl, and he's the example of a father. You know, I will only hope and wish to be a dad like him. You know, they respect him. His son, you know, follows after him. His daughter's always close, not leaving his side. It's always daddy, daddy, daddy. You know, they actually, you know, take to him, you know, more than if maybe he only came around seasonal or around the holidays or whatnot. You know, he's actually got that direct influence on him all the time. So I actually think he'll actually be able to reap the benefits of that in a couple years. And also, as he's transitioned from a father to a grandfather, you know, actually having breaking that cycle, and his son and daughter can actually see, well, you know, I don't know what it's like not having a dad around. My dad was there; he was the perfect role model. He was, you know, the driving force, the influence I needed in my life. So I actually think it can be broken, and my brother is actually breaking that barrier now.
That's good for your brother, and also even good for you whenever you decide to have children. Once again, International Fathers, I'm your host, Nelson Moody Sr. Fathers, call those children. Children, call those fathers. Fathers, hug those children. Children, hug their fathers. Until next time, God bless you.